a question from Jack Weir, who's requesting I show him the best way to escape sort of the side Scarfhold control. Jack, I am not going to show you the best way. I'm going to show you one of the ways I think is pretty damn effective and is very easy to implement early on, especially because it looks like you are a white belt. So let's get started with this. So from side Scarfhold control, I believe what you're talking about is when the person gets under the arm here, okay? This is what you'll see most of the time in jiu-jitsu. Sometimes if you want to go to like a true Scarfhold position, we're talking about like judo and stuff, this can be troublesome, but if you're good at it, a lot of times you'll be able to find your way out of this and to take the back, right? And this is typically why, you know, in jiu-jitsu, we don't use the Scarfhold the traditional way without the arm, because it's a good pin, right? It's a great pin, and there's some big guys that can use it to smash you, but eventually what's probably gonna happen is you'll have to move, and your back will be exposed and they'll take your back. So we're gonna work with this one. So let's talk about what's going on right now, okay? First off, for you to be able to escape side control, a couple things kinda have to be going on. You have to be able to get some space for your hips, right? Think about your base, we'll go to a regular side control real quick. Think about like the basic like hip escape. If we basic hip escape and shrimp, we make space for a hip to come in. And if you think about what Chad does, Chad puts a lot of pressure here on my hip. He might use his knee, he might put his hand here, he might switch around, and in this case, he's using his hip to block my hip. So we have to make space on this bottom hip for us to move. That's what's super important right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by making a good frame, and almost always with escapes, starts with the frame. So my hand on the bottom, a lot of times you'll be here, you're gonna have to use some bridges and bump the arm down. It's not the easiest thing, but that's what you're gonna have to work on first, okay? Is bridging and bumping down. You wanna get this elbow down and connected to his hip, right here, okay? Now my other hand is gonna come in and we're gonna use the frame to go over top. Now if you notice what's happening now, I've got a frame that goes from his hip to his chest, over top, back to his shoulder. So we've got this whole side, both his hip and his shoulder on the same side, controlled. From here, I'm going to do a big bridge. Now, when you bridge into him, do not bridge straight up. See what that does? Doesn't do anything. I'm gonna bridge into him. Now I'm on my shoulder and I can scoot out. Now notice, I did not push Chad, I moved my body away from Chad. You'll hear me say this time and again, it's always easier to move your body away from someone else than for you to push them away from you. From here, a lot of times what's gonna happen is Chad will come up to his knees, and then we bring our legs back in front because he feels like he's losing position. That said, every now and then, there's a slick armbar from there when they don't adjust. So if Chad's here, let's say he's hell-bent on hanging onto this arm. So we get our frame down again. If they're really tight, you're typically gonna have to get this hand in front first, and we bridge little choppy bridges to make some space and make some looseness. Get our hands together with the frame, and I'm going to bridge, hip escape. Now notice what's happening. The arm is now becoming extended from the body, which is never good for anyone that wants to get, you know, well, good for them anyway. For here, I bring my knee in place, and I can throw my leg right over top, and you'll go right into a really simple armbar, okay? Let's take a look at that from the back angle here, so you can kind of see what the hips are doing. Keep in mind, with the bridge, we're not doing this. I'm bridging up onto my shoulder here. See what that does? Look at the amount of space I create, rather than just or this kind of stuff. We're really bridging into them, okay? And if you want to think about it, it basically just gives my butt somewhere to go, okay? So we're starting in this position, put our hand in front, bridge, 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 get the elbow down. Once the elbow's connected, we make our frame, I bridge into him, and I shoot my hips out. Notice what my hips did, they got away from him. Now, we can bring the knee in place, throw the leg over top, and we're right into position. And it's surprisingly, when the person's hanging onto that arm super, super tight, it's surprisingly easy to get that arm bar because it's almost as if you're inside the full guard position and you have someone that's basically just hell-bent on pushing the forearm in your neck. You know, if you think about where we need the arm bar, I need the arm bar at the center line at least. And so if they put their forearm in the neck, they're at the center line and you just move into place. It really makes that move easy. So Jack, hopefully that escape from the Scarfhold position that we'll see the most of the time in Jiu-Jitsu is helpful to you. If that was not the position that you were looking for, if you were looking for the traditional Judo Scarfhold with the headlock, let me know and I'll cover that one. But most of the time you'll run into that in Jiu-Jitsu, especially after, you know, sometimes the white belts headlock and stuff. But most of the time with Jiu-Jitsu guys, we don't hold just the head, we hold the arm in the head. But hopefully that's helpful to you, brother.